Beat me in tennis and I'll marry you, CEO mocked the single dad janitor. Crowd froze at his secret when the arrogant CEO, Victoria Lane, publicly mocked a humble janitor for daring to play tennis with her. No one expected what came next. She laughed and said, "If you beat me, I'll marry you." The crowd roared with laughter. After all, how could a poor single dad in worn-out shoes defeat a world-class player? But as the match began, the janitor's calm eyes and graceful swings silenced everyone. Every serve, every return carried a story of loss, love, and hidden greatness. And when Victoria saw what he wore on his wrist, her smile vanished. Because this janitor wasn't who he seemed, he was someone from her past. Someone she should never have challenged. What happens next will leave you speechless. Victoria Lane was known not only for her wealth but for her arrogance. As the CEO of Lane Enterprises, she ruled the corporate world like a queen, and she loved humiliating anyone she thought beneath her. One sunny morning, the company hosted a charity tennis event. Employees were excited, cameras flashing, guests cheering. That's when Daniel, the quiet janitor who swept floors every night, appeared to clean near the court. His little daughter, Lily, stood beside him holding a tiny lunchbox. Victoria noticed them and smirked. "You know, Lily," she said loudly, "maybe your dad can play with us. He might finally feel what it's like to hold a real racket instead of a broom." Everyone laughed cruelly, but Daniel just smiled. "If I win, Ms. Lane," he said softly, "what will you give me?" Victoria, enjoying the attention, scoffed, "Win against me? Fine, if you somehow beat me, I'll marry you." The crowd erupted in laughter. Daniel simply nodded. Then let's play. A hush fell. No one could believe what they were seeing, a janitor challenging a CEO in front of hundreds. Lily clapped excitedly from the side, whispering, "You can do it, Daddy," as the game began. Daniel's movements surprised everyone. His stance was perfect, his serves powerful, his focus unshakable. Victoria struggled to keep up but refused to show weakness. Who was this man really? The first set ended 6-0 in favor of Daniel. The audience was stunned. Victoria's confident grin turned into visible frustration. She wiped sweat from her forehead, glaring at him. How do you play like that?" she snapped out. Daniel just smiled. "It's been a while," he replied, tightening his old wristband. Lily cheered again. "Go, Daddy." The camera zoomed in on Daniel's wrist, revealing a faded bracelet engraved with initials, VL and D.C. Gasps spread through the crowd. Victoria froze. That bracelet. It was hers. From 10 years ago. Suddenly, memories flooded back. Daniel Carter, the man she once loved before she chose money and power over him. He was once a rising tennis star, training for the national championship until an injury ended his career. And he vanished from the spotlight. Now he was back, not as a star, but as her janitor. Tears welled in Victoria's eyes as she whispered, "Daniel, why didn't you tell me?" He looked straight at her. "Because you never looked at me long enough to see." The match continued, but Victoria's strength faltered. Daniel wasn't playing to win, he was playing to remind her who he was. With each swing, he showed not anger but grace. And when the final ball hit the line, the score was clear. 6-0, 6-0, Daniel won. Silence filled the court. Cameras stopped flashing. Everyone stared as Victoria walked slowly toward Daniel. He stood tall, still holding his racket. His daughter running to hug his leg. "You've changed," she whispered. "No," he said gently. "You just stopped believing in people who don't shine like you." Victoria looked down, tears streaking her makeup. The crowd began clapping, not for her, but for the janitor who taught everyone what true class looks like. Lily tugged at Victoria's dress. "Miss, Daddy said you're a good person inside. He said you just forgot how to be happy." Those innocent words broke Victoria completely. She knelt down, hugging Lily. "You have a wonderful father," she said softly. Victoria turned to Daniel. "I don't deserve your forgiveness, but thank you for reminding me of the person I used to be." Daniel smiled kindly. "You don't need to marry me, Victoria. Just learn to play fair in tennis and in life." With that, he picked up Lily and began to walk away. The crowd parted in silence, watching the man they once mocked leave with quiet dignity. Victoria stared at the court, realizing she had lost something far greater than a game. She had lost herself. But now, she had a chance to find it again. Sometimes, the people we underestimate the most are the ones who can teach us the biggest lessons. If you loved this story of redemption, love, and humility, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful short films like this.